My name is Peter Okrah. I'm an engineer. But for the last about 20 years, I spent my time working with some of our young people to help them do well on the SATs and prepare them for college. And praise God, it's been very successful. There was an American politician and education reformer named Horace Mann. He said, education then, beyond all other devices of human origin, is a great equalizer of conditions of men, the balance wheel of social machinery. So when you look around, the quickest way to get to sit at a table is through education. And I think among Ghanaians here, there are a lot of professionals here, and the place that we've been, the place that we are, is because of the level of education that we have attained. There was an article in the Atlantic magazine from 2016 which states 4 at 20, 4 for life. What does it mean? Is anybody rich at age 20? Of course, unless you have a trust fund. But the point is that most young people, by the time you're 20, because you finish high school by 18, so at age 20, if you went to college, you're about to finish your sophomore year and your junior year. If you decide to go to a trade school, you'll probably finish in the community college. So your future is set pretty much at age 20. Now, when we talk about education in this country, there's not a perfect way to measure, but one of the things that you find when you go to college here, you have to take the SAT and the ACTs. And what you find is that Asian students tend to do the best. And black students have the lowest scores. And if you think you're Ghanaian, you're black. So you are among those people. When you look at the family income, the higher your family income, the higher your SAT and ACT scores. Also the level of your parents' education. The more educated your parents are, the higher your SAT scores. Now, let me ask you a question. Do students from different economic backgrounds, do they have different brains? Do students who come from affluent backgrounds or different racial backgrounds, do they have different brains? And the answer obviously is no. If you open the head of someone, you cannot tell a white brain from an Asian brain from a black brain. So what caused the differences? Number one is that money matters. Because students who come from affluent backgrounds, the reason why they do better in school is that they tend to live in a better neighborhood which have better schools. The parents can afford to give them private tutoring. They have certain life experiences that also enhance the education. Students who come from families, well-educated families, they tend to have high income, so they tend to live in better places. They also know the education system. They know the value of education, and generally they have the skills to teach their kids. The other thing about race, think about this. When the teacher's in the classroom, what assumption do they make about the students there? What assumption do they make about Asian students? What assumption do they make about white students? How about black students? How about Hispanic students? All these have effect on how students achieve in school. Now, the other thing that also comes in is that sometimes we think that, oh, our ticket to the future is through sports. Okay, I can get basketball scholarship. It's true, it's a fallacy. In fact, when you look at the chance of a top high school basketball player getting a chance to play for any college, the chance is less than 3%. And unless you go to a Division 1A school, you're not going to get a full scholarship to play ball. And the scholarship that you get to play ball is not guaranteed. Here is something that we need to think about. So when we're thinking about education, there are two keys to success. Number one, dedicated parents. Number two, dedicated students. Yes, there are certain things that you cannot overcome. You cannot overcome that you come from a poor family. You cannot overcome the fact that you're black. Yet you can be successful in the education system if you know what you're supposed to do. So I'm going to talk to the parents first. I think I don't have a whole lot of time, because if you allow me to talk, I'll probably talk the whole day. So if I'm running out of time, please let me know. Here are some key questions for the parents. What do you want your kids to be when they grow up? What does it take to get them there? The basic for success in school for parents is that we need to go to school with our kids. It's not like we just drop them off or we just put them on the bus and we're done. We need to make sure that we know what's going on in school. We encourage them to read. We talk to them. We help them to manage their time. We need to monitor their homework. Let me give you a clue. When your kid comes home, when you come home and your kids are home, don't ask them, have you done your homework? Because the answer will always be yes, whether they've done it or not. The question you must ask is that, actually it's a statement. Let me see your homework. We need to monitor their progress throughout the year, through school. We need to monitor how much time they spend on the TV, on their phones, on the computer. We need to make sure we encourage them to work independently, and they need to learn active learning. Wherever you're going, you should be able to learn something. We need to have some rules, and we need to enforce them. And one thing that I find sometimes people are reluctant to do is ask for help. When you know that your child is not doing well, ask for help. Now we need to assess the students' their progress. You know, sometimes we only look at the grades that they bring home from school. I can tell you that that is not a complete picture of how well your child is doing in school. Because we know that depends on, if you're in the same school, depends on which teacher you get. You may get a different grade. The question is, have your child learned anything throughout the year? How does your child compare with other students? Fortunately, most places have tests that the students have to take. Maybe it's a district test or a state test or a national test. And when they get to high school, you can take the PSAT. So what you do is that you actually get a score and also have a percentile. It shows how you compare with students in your class, the students in the school, the district, the state, or the country. So if your child has all A's on his grade report, and that child is in the bottom 40% on the national test, then that tells you that your child is not learning much. And we need to plan for our children's future. We need to take care of our health and the health of our children. You know, we talk about trying to help our kids educated. We know that college is very expensive. Now think about it this way. How are you going to pay for your kids' education if you're no longer here? You know, there's a story in the Bible that the prophet went to the king, and the word to the king is that, put your house in order because you are going to die. I know one thing the Ghanaians don't like to hear about is life insurance, wills, but those are very important. If you help your kid to study, and all of a sudden you're gone, how are your parents, the remaining parent going to support the family and the kids? So that is something that we need to take seriously. So here's my advice to the parents. We need to value education. We need to go to school with our kids. We need to choose carefully where we live. We need to educate our kids in school and also out of school. And we need to plan for their future. Here are some questions for the students. What do you want to be when you grow up? What is your aim? What's the purpose of your life? What would it take for you to get there? You don't wake up one morning and you're successful. It takes years of preparation and hard work. You need to learn all you can. And you need to take responsibility for yourself. Your parents can provide all the resources, but if you don't take responsibility, you're not going to amount to much. And whether your parents help you or not, 20 years from now, you cannot blame your parents. You are going to be living your life. And so you need to take that seriously today. One more advice. You need to stay away from idiots. Now, this is not me saying that. This is what the Bible says in Proverbs 14, verse 7. It says, stay away from a fool, for you will not find knowledge on their lips. And if you lie down with dogs, you get up with fleas. Something else. Just about every kid, even those in kindergarten, we got phones. And they are online. And we're posting all kinds of things online. Whatever you post is on your permanent record. Even if you delete it, it is still there. I know people send all kinds of crazy pictures. Those pictures are there. We post all kinds of stuff on our different sites, on our text messages. Everything is permanent, even when you think you deleted it. And there are negative consequences. It can bring embarrassment. Those of you who've been in Arizona maybe 3 or 4 years probably will remember this story. At Desert Vista High School in Ahwatukee. That year, the class of 2016, they were going to take a big class picture for their yearbook. They had all these letters, different t-shirts with different letters. They all lined up. And they took this class picture. And 6 of the young ladies in the class somehow picked 6 letters. I'm not going to say the word, but you will know when I tell you. 6 white female students is a 6-letter word that begins with N and it ends in R. Well, they took a picture together and they posted it on Instagram. Within an hour, that picture has gone around the world, and there were TV cameras and radio people all over there at the school in Ahwatukee. Initially, the newspapers kind of covered their faces, but then they said, wait a minute, when they posted the picture, they had their faces. So we're going to show their faces. Just that moment, not only we can see who they were, their names have been added to it. Some of the young ladies lost scholarships that they had received for their college admission, lost admission. In 2017, now you work so hard, you've been accepted to Harvard University, you think you're the best and the brightest. Harvard rescinded admission to 10 students because of what they have posted online after they have been admitted to Harvard. And they had absolutely no recourse. You want a job? Oh, this is from 2011. In a survey, they actually show that 75% of employers actually check their online posting before they hire you. So right now it's probably close to 100%. I think my time is run out. Let me add a few more things to it, and I open for 1 or 2 questions. You want to go to college? Well, you need 2 things. One is your academic record, how well you've done in high school, the grades that you receive. And the grades that take you to high school, get you to college, those grades do not include your senior year grades, basically grade 9 to 11, because you have to apply at the beginning of 12th grade. You have to do well on the SATs and the ACTs, and you have to get good recommendations from your teachers, and you have to write a good essay. So how well do you do well on these tests? The first one is knowledge, that you know what the test is asking, the math and English. And then the skill. How well have you practiced so that you can actually answer most of the questions correctly to get a good score? So something that we need to do, all of us as parents particularly, and also for young people, is that college preparation must start early, very early. Actually, must start from kindergarten. And you're going to say, wait a minute, what do you mean by college kindergarten? Think about it. To get to college, you have to do well in high school. To do well in high school, you have to do well in middle school. And then primary school. And you see where I'm going. We need to make sure our kids are able to read by grade 3. You learn to read so that you can read to learn. And we just start saving money as soon as possible, as soon as we bring the baby from the hospital. Let me give you just a quick arithmetic. Let's suppose as soon as you bring the baby home from the hospital, you start putting away $100 a month in a basic mutual fund that maybe pays 7%. By the time your child turns 18, you will have well over $21,000. I hear most parents don't think about their kids' costs until they are applying to college in 12th grade. That's a bit too late. I think I will stop here. If anybody has one or two quick questions, I can answer. I think they gave me 5 minutes for questions. So if anybody has a question, you can raise your hand and you can ask, or if you want to make a comment, I can do it. Any questions? I think that people are just shy. They don't want to show themselves. And then as soon as I leave here, I'm going to see a line of people asking me questions.
Someone has a question. Right?
Okay, sure.
So where can we find your information if we would like to, if we know somebody that would like SAT and prep assistance?
Actually, all of you here, you have the program. If you talk to the president of GAA, he will let you know.
All right. Someone has a question?
Just wanted to find out, you were talking about knowing which areas that relate that the kids will be, lucky to go to good schools. How do we find out? Because we all want to live in a place where we pay less. So how do we go about that?
Actually, one of the great websites is called greatschools.org. When you go there, you can actually put in the zip code, and it will list the schools that are there and how they are rated. There's a lot of information there. Now, let me make a comment. Sometimes you say you want to buy a place where it is not too expensive. Think about this. Let's suppose that you have a place that it costs less. If you were to say, oh, I'll take my child to a private school so they get good education. Private school is going to cost you at least $12,000 a year, minimum. So if you have 2 children, that is $24,000. I think that if you wanted to add $2,000 to your mortgage per month, you can live practically any place you want in this town. And so let's focus on, if you ask Ghanaians, why do you come to America? One of the reasons that they give you is their kids. So if there's a reason why you are here, then we must invest in them, not in the houses that we're building in Ghana.